All right, welcome. Here we are yet again on our new airplane. Not quite as new as it was, but new nonetheless. And just coordinating our initiation of our descent. One second, I'm sorry. Oh, I know it's wrong. Sorry. Okay, got it. All right. We've initiated our descent. Sorry, that caught me a little off guard. I was in Mach mode, so I was unable to initiate a descent. Okay, so we're at 34,000 feet. We are flying from Auckland, New Zealand to Sydney, Australia. We are descending now down to 10,000 feet, and our usual descent altitude of 10,000 feet. Of course, air traffic control is still working in the background, but I'm happily no longer challenged by its unending vagaries. So I've set our altitude at 10,000 feet. Now we'll continue our descent. I think technically I've been cleared to descend to 24,000 feet, but we're descending down to 10,000. So, confronted with the usual challenge of finding approach plates for airports outside the U.S. I was able to find an excellent one though for this. The ILS frequency for runway runway 34. I can't remember if I'm landing on 34 right or left. In any event, we're landing to the north on runway 34 right, I think. 34 right. In any event, the ILS frequency 109.3. Go ahead and activate that. There we go. Okay. Zoom in here on our MFD. There we go. All right. Airspeed right now is fine. Set it at 275. Let's increase our descent rate. There we go. We'll do 2,200 feet per minute. In terms of our approach, I'm showing us 83 miles from the airport. Not a straight-in approach today, which is fortunate. I'm slightly behind the 8 ball on our approach today. I had called away for something and was able to make it back to the flight deck here in time, but just a little bit behind schedule. Anyway, in terms of other important bits of information, you can see here as far as our approach goes, we're, as I said, not a straight-in approach today. Turn left and then right for the approach to runway 34 right. There you can actually see. There it is. Runway 34 right. Originally, I had given our arrival time right now here in Pacific Standard Time, where I am in Los Angeles. The current local time is 1:52 p.m. or 9:52 Zulu. I'd given it our estimated arrival time as when I took off anyway, based on winds aloft. at 10:26 Zulu, or 2:26 Pacific Standard Time, or I guess most importantly, 9:26 a.m. in Australia, in Sydney. But as it happened, the winds aloft changed for the better, and our uh, 9:26 a.m. local time arrival looks like it's going to be substantially ahead of that. Ended up making up quite a bit of time on our flight from Auckland to Sydney. I did start our timer as soon as we started our takeoff roll, 2 hours and 53 minutes ago. So it looks like my guess would be that this flight will end up taking us about 3 hours. Oh, 3 hours and 3 hours and 7 minutes total. Not too bad, all things considered. Always lots of things to keep an eye on. That all looks fine for now. Let's see if yeah, we're told to descend to 14,000 feet now, so at this point anyway, our descent pattern is pretty consistent with ATC's instructions, which we're not following, which I'd like to follow, but unfortunately just can't because of the bugginess. You can actually see the coast of Australia right out there. Last I checked, I'm sorry I don't have my phone with me, but the last I checked, the weather in Sydney was nice. Winds out of the north, 340, north-northwest, 340 at 4 knots, last I checked. We'll see if that remains the case. Headed towards Bicus as our next waypoint, showing 4.4 nautical miles, 49 seconds. After Bicus is the rather humorously named waypoint Whale, and after Whale is Prawn. It's the Jacqueline, Endev, Bobig, Olsog. I was able to find on the approach plate that we need to be at no faster than 185 knots at Bobig. So that's useful. I probably would have been at or around that airspeed anyway. Winds are continuing to diminish as we descend. 44 knot headwind right now, but again, as we continue our descent, that's becoming less of an issue. 43 knots now. Below transition altitude in the States, I think transition altitude is different down here in Australia, but regardless, I've switched our altimeter to actual altimeter instead of standard altimeter of 2992, and as it happens, the altimeter is 2971. 16,000 feet now, descending to 14,000 feet, well, excuse me, to 10,000 feet, although technically the sim has told us to descend to 14,000 feet. Again, I don't know what the general mood out there is amongst the users, my fellow simmers, about how to handle this. It's very hit or miss. It works sometimes, the ATC. Other times it's completely confounding. So as long as I have that kind of demonstrable unreliability. Try to zoom in here. There we go. Looking over here, looks like there is an airplane landing to the north. So that's good. That at least is confirmation that the active runway remains 34 left and 34 right. This is a big airport, obviously Sydney International. So that could pose an issue with regard to other traffic in the area. The time of day in Sydney, it's a Sunday morning. Let's think, hold on, actually it's tomorrow there. I guess it's Monday morning. So that might help a little with regard to, they don't have Thanksgiving week either as we do here in the States. In any event, real time right now, it's Monday morning. It's Sunday afternoon here in the States, but Monday morning in Sydney. So that might actually help with regard to the number of airplanes flying around there in the sky. I do have real-time traffic, meaning I have both actual airliners in the area flying, but also fellow simmers. Okay, we're coming up on Prawn now. 5.8 nautical miles from Prawn, 1 minute 13 seconds. 73 seconds from Prawn, we'll make our left turn. Out of curiosity, ATC seems utterly confused by what we're doing, which is fine with me. There it is. Here's the Australian coast. 3 hours from Auckland. Check our timer, reconfirm. Yeah, 3 hours, almost on the button there. I think but for the winds, this flight is estimated about 2 hours and 46 minutes. All right, we're leveling it off at 10,000 now. Let's see if we can. There's that left turn. Coming up on Prawn, making that left turn, we'll disengage bank angle limitations so we can actually turn more steeply. That'll help us be a little more faithful to this route as it appears. Zooming in here. Okay, left turn at Prawn now. Get us down to 250. Don't want to be what is constant irritant here. Don't want to be above 250 knots, below 10,000. All right, looking good. Actually receiving ILS information now, 8.8 nautical miles. Keep in mind, as I've mentioned on other occasions, does not mean that we're 8 miles from the run. Well, it means we're 8 miles from the runway, but showing this graphical representation. Oh, look at this guy. Yeah, see, this guy's on final. Just like we're over here, he's over here, so we're gonna follow behind him. Anyway, we're 8 miles from the runway, but we're actually 27 miles from the runway because we have to do all this first. All right, we'll continue decelerating. Slow down to 225. Just constantly having to deal with this speed mode, accidentally reverting to FMS instead of manual. All right, so we're going to continue our descent. Set our altitude selector at 6,000 feet and continue descending. 1,200 feet per minute.
Transition altitude. Nearest altimeter.
QNH is 1008. That's the equivalent to 2971. Again, just a question of imperial versus metric units. in the sim, whenever you decrease your selected airspeed too quickly, the sim interprets that as the aircraft being readied for landing, even though it's not, which is why you get that alert message about landing gear. I do know, based on what I discovered online, that we need to be at 2,500 feet. Correction, 2,000 feet at NDEV. So that actually tells me we should slow down a bit more.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
And increase our descent rate, because we're at 8,300 right now, and NDEV is only 30 seconds away. So we actually are coming in too hot right now. So I'm actually going to extend our downwind leg here. That was a little cute on my part, but whoops. Why is it going to 228?
Landing gear. Landing gear.
No, this autopilot's going to be the death of me, I swear.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
You can see what we're doing here.
Landing gear.
I'm going to actually engage speed brakes to shut it the fuck up.
Landing gear.
There we go.
Landing gear. Landing
Continue
gear.
descending.
Landing gear. Landing
Down to
gear.
2,000. I have my speed brakes deployed right now, so that's why you're hearing the throttle speed up. Just trying to slow the aircraft down. The speed brakes assist me in doing that. So anyway, you notice that what I've done here is I've extended our downwind on purpose because we were coming in a little bit too hot. So that's actually fine. Now we're good. Bring in our speed brakes, obviously. There we go. And we're looking better now. So we're going to make a right turn now using our heading bug. And basically all we're doing now is sort of extending that downwind. So we extended the leg here, so that bought us a little real estate. Oh, this goddamn mouse wheel is just so frustrating.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Wouldn't deploy the... No, I want you at 185, okay, babe? 185. Then we'll go ahead and deploy our...
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Okay. A little chaotic, I apologize. It's the mouse wheel that's going to really be the end of me, I think. Okay, this is better now. Actually see the white caps on the water. That's pretty sweet. Okay, so let's shallow out this descent rate now a bit. And re-engage nav. Okay. Whew, that was a little challenging, a little more challenging than I would have otherwise preferred. I needed to extend that downwind because we were coming in too high. If that makes sense. If I followed this, we would have been too high at NDIV. So by extending it and then turning, I just basically bought us some time to do that descent. So we're good now. Everything's good. So 185. Let's get our landing lights on. Prep for our final approach. Make sure we're still following our nav. We are. Make sure this is still on FMS. Yes, it is. Okay. Water's looking good. Okay. Showing about 6 minutes now. There, it's making that gentle right turn. lining us up. Once we are lined up and back on the actual nav track, I'm going to push the APPR button, which will automatically trigger this nav source to switch to nav 1 and handle us on final. Now remember, we're supposed to be at 2,000 feet at NDEV, according to the approach plate. And there's NDEV right now, only 32 seconds away. And we are at 2,000 feet, so that's all well and good. Going to do 1 notch of flaps. There we go. Nice gentle right turn. Yeah, the speed brake can be very useful in helping manage rapid descents. Let's go ahead and activate the APR as we just are about to pass over NDEV right now. Just let it intercept. Water looks fantastic. Let's go ahead and descend to 165 and do another notch of flaps and put the gear down. Looking good. And we'll go ahead and activate APPR. We'll know when that's official, when this switches to nav 1. There it goes. More challenging approach than I expected, but what a beautiful day in Sydney, Australia. Thank goodness. All right. Airport should, once we finish this very gentle right turn, the airport should be in front of us. Here it is. There's our actual runway. There's 3-4 left. There's 3-4 right. Right there. Beautiful. Excellent. Excellent. Very good. Yeah, we're holding at 2,000 feet right now. Slow us down to 160. Yes, 160. We're going to be at 155 knots, approximately anyway, at about Olsog, which is our next waypoint. That white diamond right now, still no recognition of the glide slope. Which is why our altitude's holding steady at 2,000. I'm seeing very faintly in the distance all reds on the poppies, which again was consistent with the white diamond being too high there. In other words, we're not too low, but we're low, which is what you'd want on a final approach to an ILS, just so you fly in underneath the glide slope in order to intercept it. So we're going to hold steady at 2,000 feet here in anticipation of continuing our descent. We'll set it at 1,000 feet, but I will not instruct the autopilot to begin that descent yet. I'd still rather have glide slope information. Winds are really significant, 25, 23 knots from the west-southwest. So that could add to our challenge, to be sure. Set at 155, full flaps. We are not intercepting the... There it goes! Whew, right when I was about to express a modicum of doubt, the glide slope intercepted. So we're good now. Excellent news. Reconfirm gear is down. Yes, it is. And full flaps. We'll disengage our auto throttle here momentarily. 3-4 right in front of us. There it is. Showing 1 red, 3 whites on the poppy. It's okay. Yeah, really significant winds. 20, 22 knots. Bouncing us around, you can see that. Yeah, really a challenge. This will be, I hate to be a pessimist, but I don't see this being a butter landing. It seems as though the winds have shifted. This could be fun. I don't know if fun's the right word. Auto throttle struggling to maintain airspeed. You can hear it. I'm going to disengage auto throttle at this time. I'm handling the aircraft. Auto throttle is disengaged. I'm handling the aircraft. Right. Now, autopilot disengaged.
500.
Ooh. Airspeed's good, 149. Still showing 3 whites, 1 red on the poppy. Precision approach path indicator. Lined up nicely. Three, 4 right confirmed. Come on. Well, that was tense. Jesus, that was tense. Okay, continue our. Okay. It was tense, but it was actually pretty nicely executed. I would like to get some arrows here to tell me where to go, but we're off the runway now. Just out of curiosity in the background, let's see if Sydney ground taxi to parking 4. See if we get any arrows. There we go. Okay. All right, we're off runway now. Let's check outside here briefly. Let's bring in our spoilers. Flaps. Okay. Very good. All right. Switch over to taxi. Welcome to Sydney, where the local time is 9:16. So about 10 minutes ahead of schedule. Works for me. We'll zoom in here on the MFD. What a airport. Holy Moses. Okay. Crowded and gigantic. All right. We'll follow our arrows. That was exciting. That was quite a challenging landing. You see the winds have shifted again here on the ground anyway. They're showing out of the northwest at about 4 knots, which is consistent with the weather I'd been told to expect. But I'll go back and look at that video. But from my perspective, the winds were kind of coming from our left side on final. Not a tailwind, so to speak, but and actually not much of a crosswind, technically. I guess crosswind sort of when it's coming at you from an angle. This was sort of coming from our left side. But, you know, all things considered, it was a pretty good landing. I don't know. Seemed all right to me. Might have been a little long, but with a long runway like this, there are worse fades. All right, so let's finish our taxi. Big airport. Good God. Look at this place. Big airport. Let's get over to our parking spot. Don't want to go too fast on the ground, but by the same token, giant airport like this, I don't want to spend all my time driving. Take longer taxiing to our parking spot than it took to fly here from Auckland. When I was setting up for this flight, I looked at a diagram of the airport, and I figured it was going to be a not insignificant taxi job wherever we landed, just because the airport's so big. All right, moving right along here. It's probably about as fast as I dare go, 25 knots. Wow, look at that tower. That's cool. Whoops. Little speed bump. All right. Yeah, this is the difference, landing at international airport versus some of these little airports I've landed at in the sticks and when I was still flying the TBM. I love the cloud characteristics. God, they look amazing. Don't they look amazing? Still steering with my feet. Yeah, so other than having to extend the downwind, that was a pretty pretty standard approach. Turn left and right just to make sure nobody's coming at us. Nope. All clear. I mean, look at how enormous this airport is. Pretty cool to think this plane originated in Sacramento. Or at least this series of flights originated in Sacramento, California, KSMF. And now here we are in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. Okay. Still a kilometer, though, from our parking spot. Good golly. Kind of a long taxi. I'm sorry about that, but I guess in my defense, there's not much I can do. Looks like we got lots of other airplanes on the ground and around us, which is to be expected, but in sim, always more of a challenge. Taking us all the way over here to the northeast corner of the airport. But those of us, any of you who've landed at International Airport have been confronted with this on occasion, where you have to taxi a while to get to your landing or to your parking spot. There's somebody. Hey, dude. A twin engine prop, very nice. Okay, quarter mile now. Just about coming in. Anyway, yeah, other than that extended downwind, which I had to do because I was just a little bit too high, everything went pretty smooth. I did find it interesting listening to the autothrottle struggle. This must be, it is. This is one of the custom handmade airports. There's like 30 in the version of Flight Sim that I bought, custom handmade airports. And the way you can tell is that they have actual liveries instead of just generic ones. You can see actual real airlines. That's fun. That's bitchin'. I didn't even realize that when I set this flight up. Well, that explains the level of detail we're seeing in the airport grounds themselves. Well, that makes me less bothered by the fact that we got to have a big tour of the airport. Okay. Where's our guy? Do I see him? I see him. Yep, I got him. There he is. Come on, give me the X. There we go. Okay, parking brake. Turn off those taxi lights. All right. Okay, well, all things considered, that went pretty darn well. Let's go ahead and go outside, check things out. Welcome to Sydney, Australia, at what I forgot to be the hand-done airport. I trying to remember the last time I landed at a hand-done airport. I may not have yet, now that I come to think of it in the sim. I know LAX is one, I think SFO, Paris, Charles de Gaulle. I don't think I've actually landed at a hand-done airport. That's great. Wow, look at the detail. That is sweet. Oh, I love it. Look at that plane. I'm sorry, I'm so taken with it. Okay, that's it. We're safe on the ground in Sydney, Australia. Who knows where we'll head next. Have a great day.